FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Bif Mills on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen in St. Kitts and Nevis. To those of you in the Leeward Islands, we say good evening as well. Those in the OECS, hi, good evening to you. Those in the Caribbean, it's also good evening. But once we are stepping out of the Caribbean, we're going further afield. We say good morning, good afternoon, good night, good evening, good whatever it is, because where you are, it has to be something. In some countries, today is still yesterday, while in other countries, today is tomorrow. So by that I mean in some countries, it is still Monday, while in other countries, it is now Wednesday. Welcome to another edition of On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9. Happy belated Labor Day to you. Hope you went marching. I forgot my color shirt at home, so I didn't get to go. And plus, I was a little tired. I ran the midnight show from midnight on just after the news on Sunday morning to 6 o'clock. Well, I cheated a little bit. I went down to about 6:25. On Monday morning, I got some support from Raspy, my producer tonight, of Tough House Sounds. He wanted to make sure I'm settling, and I started to jam some sounds. Why, it's amazing when you're playing music, time flies fast. You know, I come up with all kind of big plans, playing all kind of these songs, local songs, calypso, string band music, big drum. I ain't get around to half of them. By the time I do so poof, poof, it's already after 6. And I had to lead into that with some gospel, you know. According to old people, Quelbe. I couldn't have all kind of Quelbe going down until morning devotions at 6 o'clock, at 6:30. So I had to kind of soften it with some Jim Reeves and Joseph Niles. You know, if you don't have Jim Reeves, you don't have Joseph Niles, you don't have gospel. Everything else is everybody singing gospel, but gospel is Joseph Niles, and Jim Reeves. If you're celebrating birthday today, we say, hey, happy birthday to you. Hope you're having fun. Hope you're having a ball. If you're celebrating an anniversary, happy anniversary to you. And hope you're having fun, remembering what caused you to get in love. And those of you who got something today, whether it's a new hairdo, if you got your hairdo yesterday, I don't know, and new fingernails, new toenails, and I know a lot of days these ladies are into this toenail business. You look at some toenails, and boy, they look so enticing. They make you want to think and do all kind of things. But hey, not everybody into toenails. If you got a new hairdo on your bicycle, and your baby, a new member of the family, and your job, a promotion, and your boyfriend and your girlfriend. In some cases, if people get divorced, you know, congratulations might be in order. But you ever realize every time you tell anybody, hey, I'm divorced, oh, I'm sorry. It doesn't necessarily mean divorce means sorry. Maybe it's a good thing that you got divorced. Notwithstanding, the Bible say once you're married, you shouldn't. But when you get some good head blows and things like that, boy, you got to take it and make one way. Because I don't believe in touching a woman. Don't ever touch a woman. If a woman being unfaithful to you, you giving her, you hitting her, that ain't gonna stop nothing. So walk away. Like King Cameron say, walk away. walk away. If a woman got to tell me, boy, Biff, you got to hit me, otherwise you don't love me, sweetheart, find another lover, because I ain't going to touch you. So if I don't hit you, it doesn't mean I don't love you. And the matter of fact, it's the other way around. The more I love you, the more I don't hit you. So please, guys, no matter how old you are, no matter how old the woman is, no matter what she does you, please walk away. Don't hit her. And all of you who celebrated birthdays or anniversaries between last week, Wednesday, and yesterday, Labour's Day, happy belated birthdays, happy belated anniversary to you. And those of you who are going to be celebrating birthdays and anniversary from tomorrow over to next week. Next week, when Monday, yes. We say happy birthday in advance and happy anniversary in advance to you. Next holiday coming up is Monday, the 9th of June. Right, Mr. Raspy, which is with Monday. And that's when the Green Valley coming on and things like that. I supposed to leave. No, I supposed to come back on island on the 8th, Sunday the 8th of June. I don't know if I'm going to be in any shape when I come in Raspy. To come in and fly in from the States to here. Well, that is if Trump let me in the States. And then come here, land, come straight here, maybe get 2 hours sleep somewhere, wash home, get 2 hours sleep, freshen up, come back home. I'll think about it. But what we have happening on the ball tonight, we thank you for joining us. I know Housty. Hey, Housty, what's up? He's always logged in and always listening to On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9, my main man in Texas. And he's going to say, boy, Troy, yes, you did something very good on your show today. Or, boy, no, Troy, I ain't agree with that. And he's going to be listening. I think that there's a young lady by the name of Larnett Somerset over in Keon. I think she's going to be listening as well. And who else? What's her name again? Evie Morris. Yes, up by Bactus area. I think she is going to be listening as well. And I have 2 lady friends. Boy, one that treat me bad, She'll come in and she'll call me today to tell me she's going tomorrow, which is what happened. She comes St. Kitts all the way from New York on Saturday, and she called me this afternoon to say, hey, Biff, I'm here in St. Kitts. So I say, hey, when I'm going to invite you out, okay, fine, no problem. Where could I invite you out? When I could invite you out for a glass of milk juice or something. But I said, I'm leaving tomorrow morning and just come transact some business. I ain't going to get me vexed, but it's all good. And that's Naomi. Naomi, she's originally from Date Bay. She lives in New York. And her sister, Sandra, who's actually my twin sister, both of us were born on the 9th of December. I won't tell you when we were born, but she's the much better looking twin. A very beautiful lady. And they're going to be listening. And who else going to be listening? Some guys down in Sandy Point. I was there playing some domino Sunday night. I share a couple shit, but I get 1 or 2 to myself, to be honest. I clean up a whole board, I think I give 3 of them a shit. 3, make space for the 3 new people. But getting back to On the Ball, the program, 4660989 is our number. You could WhatsApp me if you're shy. You could WhatsApp me on 668-2055. We are live on Facebook. We are also live on YouTube, so you could log in and look at it and actually make your comments as well. So let us know what you're thinking, any suggestions you have, how we could better serve you, what you don't like. Because it's not my show, it's your show. I'm only the medium, the mechanism, the machine, the tool to get the information out for you. But it's all about you and educating you and informing you what is happening, entertaining you in some cases. That's why when I come, I bring on my kind of face to make you watch him laugh. Anyway, and so you could WhatsApp us. You could leave your messages on YouTube and Facebook, and you could let us know what you're thinking and feeling, and we are here to serve you. And 668-2055, like I said, give us a call, and if you're shy, WhatsApp. And talking about that, we're going to have 2 guests tonight, one at 7:30, which is the St. Kitts and Nevis Basketball Association, SCNABA. They just had their youth league. The senior league is coming up. And then at 8 o'clock, we're having the Security Forces United Football Club. Now, they're not going to appeal to people to find out how to score goals in the league, nor how to get a point. They are going to be talking about their intervention program. They have a lovely summer program I really like it, with using football and children to try and alleviate the crime or keep them on the straight and narrow and uphill path, keeping them away from a life of crime and violence. And I really like that, the at-risk youth. So I think we're going to be having Inspector John Bergen with us to tell us all about what they're thinking, what they're doing. And before we get into, again, we remind you 4660989, and you could basically call at any time. We're hoping when you call, when the guests are here, one will be online, no longer can make it in studio. Mr. Bergen will be in studio. The other one will be calling in from 7:30. So we're hoping when you ask your questions, it is around that time, that topic. Otherwise, or like now, you could call me and talk about anything. And we thank you for listening. And we are going without a sponsor for some time. And we're appealing to you to come on board. Call 466-9586, our marketing department, and we will be able to gladly come up with some package for you. Of course, we would appreciate you sponsoring the program in its entirety, 2 hours every Tuesday from 7 to 9 every month. For some period, we're hoping that that can happen. However, if you're not in a position to do that, then you could sponsor the first Tuesday in every month, or the last Tuesday, or the first Tuesday of every airing of the show, or you can sponsor half an hour if you care to. Whatever you do, we are here to serve you. We are here to keep you satisfied. And so give our marketing department a call, 466-9586, or you can call yours truly, Troy Bif Mills. Where are we going to start off tonight? Okay, let us start off with volleyball. We have some football, we have some cricket, and what do we have? We have a lot of things happening in St. Kitts, around St. Kitts, and Zeke might probably call in and give us some information about the golfing situation. They're hoping having the Masters. He's going to be on the show in a little bit. And also there's, well, before we get to the volleyball, the International Table Tennis Federation, they are having their elections, which are held every quadrennial, every 4 years. Their elections are going to be on the 27th of May, 2025, this month, in Qatar. And the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association will be attending. It's the first time that we've ever attended an ITTF event. It's really expensive. So we're going to be heading out, and yours truly, I have the privilege, the pleasure, and the honor of representing the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association. Hopefully we'll go down there, we're going to meet with some of the sponsors and be able to, some of the companies that work with ITTF, the tables, the uniforms, the balls, the bats, the robots, the separators, the shoes, and we're hoping that we'll be able to get them interested and get them come on board to sponsor the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association. So we're going to meet with them down at the ITTF. Never in my life have I been, but I wouldn't say bombarded, reached out to by so many presidents. And guess what? This is the first time some of them are doing it. And really, ladies and gentlemen, I don't like that. You're running for election. You're going to wait until 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, a month to call and say, hey, could your country support us? I don't like that. And then when I go and I support you, you don't hear, I don't hear from you again. Why only now are we interested, are we of interest to you? You're interested in us. No, man, call us throughout the 4 years. Hey, how you doing? How table tennis program going? How you doing with your talent identification, your schools? Is there anything we could help you with? But not wait until that. And I've had some calls, and well, some of them just flood you with the emails and the resumes. They don't even call. And really, I don't like that. I don't like that. Whether or not I've made a decision on behalf of the SK entity where we're going to vote as yet. But it seems to be like it's going to be stiff. And there has been a letter. I don't like this going in the trenches, getting low and dirty and mean. Because there's a letter circulating that is attacking a member of the ITTF. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But for that to surface just 3 weeks before, a month before the elections, I don't think that is right. It's fear, and it's part of a smear campaign. I am very familiar with them. I've been exposed to training in smear campaign, but it's not a style I like. And when I was the chairman of the staff negotiating committee at Cable and Wireless, we were exposed, the training committee, we were exposed to that type of training. Same training politicians are exposed to. How you're going to go about being in opposition, how to attack, how to work on getting out the incumbent, so to speak. In this case, it was we as the staff, because we were like the trade union for the Cable and Wireless staff. We were trained how to do things when it comes to management to basically get what we want, so to speak. And some of them, though I've been trained in them, that's not my style. I don't believe in that. And some of them are really, really down to earth, really, really serious. And we've seen them employed in some countries, but smear campaigns, I'm not a fan of that. So, and there's another situation that I'm hoping will be resolved at the ITTF Americas, and we're still talking table tennis, ITTF Americas annual general meeting last year. That was in September, October, somewhere there in El Salvador. And again, it was the first time St. Kitts and Nevis attended that. Could you imagine Mexico, a big sporting country like Mexico, respected internationally for the sporting, two presidents going to come down and say, I am the president of the Mexico Table Tennis Association. And the next one get up and say, no, he's not. I am the president of the St. Kitts, of the Mexico Table Tennis Association. Two national associations. And I'm like, I don't expect that at this level, man. So, obviously, the president did the right thing for two reasons. One, the matter is before the ITTF to resolve. And two, since we're not certain who is who down here, we can't talk to none of you, and we're not going to speak to both of you, so please leave the meeting. And I supported that. I supported that wholeheartedly. What was strange is the National Olympic Committee of any country, they are the ones that confirm, and I think it is so for other sporting entities, but for table tennis, the St. Kitts, when we got into office, and we wrote to ITTF and we wrote to, well, ITTF is the world governing body, and then we have the continental body, which is the ITTF Americas, and then we have the Caribbean below that, and OECS, and then St. Kitts. So we had to write to all of them and tell them there was elections were held on this date, and this is the new executive. And you know, all of them say, okay, fine, yes, congratulations. Have your National Olympic Committee send us a note saying all of this. So we had to write to the Olympic Committee, and then they wrote to them and say, yes, elections were had, Troy Bif Mills is the president, and Shaquan Hadj is the vice president, etc., etc., etc. But a strange thing in Mexico, the National Olympic Committee, they are saying, yes, Troy Bif Mills and his team, they are the duly elected president of the, let's call it the Mexico Table Tennis Federation. I don't know, I don't remember the name. So they're saying, yes, the Mexico Table Tennis Federation, they are the bona fide authority on table tennis in Mexico. But then the government is going to say, no, Troy Bif Mills is not the president of the Mexico. They're going to give another name, the Mexico Table Tennis Association. So you have Mexico Table Tennis Federation, Mexico Table Tennis Association. The official body is the Mexico Table Tennis Association, and Peter Paul is the president, he and his team. So the official body responsible for saying who is saying, no, it's Troy Bif Mills, but somebody else saying that. And that is why international bodies don't want governments getting involved in national associations, no matter where, especially FIFA. FIFA don't make joke with that. From the time they hear shoo, bam, you're suspended. Your referee, you're under 17, you're under 15, and even if you have members, and not, when you're suspended from CFU, FIFA, you're suspended from CONCACAF and CFU and everything. So, and I believe in that wholeheartedly. And that was the case with Mexico. So no doubt that will be resolved there. But anyway, we're getting back. It's now almost, yes, it's 7:31. So we have to find out from our guests. Raspi, anything from our guest as yet? No, not as yet. We have to find out from our guest if he is actually ready. And We are going to get to him in a moment. And as a matter of fact, let us go to a break and have a short break and find out the status of our guest. And we will be right back with you. Stick and stay. Don't go away. You're listening to On The Ball here at WINN FM 98.9, the station where we are looking back at the competition from miles ahead. And On The Ball heard every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. where we bring you regional, local, regional, and international news of any sporting discipline. Stick and stay. Don't go away. Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune into On The Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On The Ball with Troy Bif Mills on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball. Thank you. Welcome back to On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9. I am Troy Bif Mills, and it's a pleasure to be here with you as usual. And we now have our guest online. I could tell you he's from the St. Kitts and Nevis Basketball Association, but I'm not going to tell you who he or she is. I'm going to allow the individual to introduce him or herself. Good evening. Welcome to On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9.
Good evening, Mr. Mills. Good evening, everybody in Radio Land. Pleasure to be on WINN FM on the ball. My name is Sean Crossley, the new PRO for the St. Kitts Nevis Amateur Basketball Association. Just to let you guys know, we had a little shuffling. The executive, where I moved from treasurer. We now have a new treasurer that's in Desiree Weeks. And we have an assistant treasurer in Darius Esdale. So I'm now the PRO, former PRO Gavin Bell had resigned, because of busy schedule, and then one of our treasurer had passed and we didn't fill this spot for quite some time. That was Raja, who used to work at the treasury. So, we filled this spot and we did a little shuffling to the executive. So I'm here to talk about basketball.
Hold on, hold on, Mr. Shaw, before you get. When did the shuffling happen? What date?
Oh, actually, 3 weeks ago, we had a executive meeting at the Olympic office. We had an executive meeting that was at the Olympic office, and that's when we voting the 2 new members, and we did a little change into the executive.
Okay, so could you give us the full executive now, please?
So the president is Glenn Jeffords, the vice president, Wendell Pemberton. Then we have our treasurer, Jakita Thomas. And then we have the other Pemberton, Sheldon Pemberton, who is the assistant, secretary. Jakita is the secretary, assistant secretary is Sheldon Pemberton. Then you have our Desiree Weeks as our treasurer, Darius Esdale as our assistant treasurer, and none other than me, Sean Crosby, as your PRO.
Okay. Thanks a lot for informing us. Congratulations to you in your private capacity, personal capacity as coach of the Rams Sandy Point Falcons.
Yes,
for winning the youth championships.
The junior league just completed 2 weeks ago, and we became victorious. Actually, Ram Sandy Point Falcons junior team went undefeated during the season, only to lose a game 2 of the finals after winning game 1, and was victorious in game 3, winning the finals 2-1 in the best of 3 series. Congratulations also to Rams Hitters junior team. They showed up after placing 3rd in the regular season, coming out to the finals and put up a good performance. But as I would say, Falcons was looking as the favorite throughout the whole season, not because it's my team, but with experience. So you had Mr. Macari Gums, we finals MVP, who was around since he 13, 14, and we growth and experience, one of our dominant players. We have Cavante Bedford, Kane Thomas, and Denway Williams. So, I call them the Fantastic Four. A very dominant team. And, the junior season was a good season. We had a regular season champion, which was Sandy Point Falcons. Then in second place, you had Youth and Sport Raiders out of Nevis. In third place, we had Rams Hitters junior team, and then ASC Jayhawks junior team in the 4th place. So in the semifinals, you had Hitters defeating Youth and Sport Raiders out of Nevis to go to the finals, and then Ram Sandy Point Falcons beating ASC Jayhawks in the semi to go to the finals. And as you know, Ram Sandy Point Falcons was victorious in the finals over Rams Hitters.
Okay, that's wonderful stuff. Congratulations to you. How many times you have Sandy Point Falcons? How many times have they won the championship now?
Well, me being a coach for 19 years, that's 10 championship for the junior team, 10 in 19 years.
Wow. Congrats.
but out of those 19 years, we've been to the finals. Well, the playoffs, we've been to the playoffs 17 times.
Wow.
Out of the 19 years. And we also been to the finals 16 times out of them 19 years.
Wow.
And so we also is the only junior team that ever 5 feet.
5?
Only junior team to ever, yeah. We from 06, 07, 08, 09, and 10. The only junior team that ever 5 feet championship. So for me as a coach is 10. But in my junior days, I won 2. It's my junior days, so but as a coach, it's 10 for me. 10 in 19 years.
It doesn't get better any better than that. The only team I think could compare with that is Manchester United, which is my team from England. Back in
my
football.
team too.
In a lot of blows for the past years since Foggy gone, but
that's how we go. There's always time when you're going to have your ups and your downs with building stage. Because I remember when I lose Hazy and those guys, Grammy, and I was in my rebuilding stage. And then, after that 2 years come back, dominant, win championship in 2012, 2016, back-to-back in 22 and 23, and now this year again in 25. So you have this stage when you go through the rebuild where you just got to trust the process and keep the faith with the guys.
We've been, of course, following you on WINN FM, following the league on WINN FM, bringing the news and the information to the public. And we know you won the regular season undefeated. We know you won the first game, like you said, but the second game you lost. What were the reasons, really? Were you complacent? Did the guys feel that they already had won the championship, so they didn't show up for the game?
I wouldn't say that. We had in the semi-finals, which caused some of my players, I think 3 of my players, to get suspended a game.
Okay.
So I was out of them for the game with the in the game 2. It was game 2, and it was actually on we home court. It was in Sunny Point. After winning game 1 in Hitler's home court in Dorset, and we actually lose game home court and win the championship. Now, a strong, everybody was there, the whole team, full force, so we came out with a strong performance in the finals.
The champions.
In the final, game 3.
The defending champions, Tough Nuts out of St. Paul's. They were way down the tables at the end of the regular season. What really happened to them?
Yes, there was 5th in the regular season. They came 5th. They didn't make it to the final 4. You know, as I tell you, with juniors is, when players get old, you get to the rebuilding stage. So that's where, they had the key players. They lost. You had Kaliel and you had Tivadi. And these key players to the core that they lost. As players get older, is rebuilding stage.
I like the idea of playing games, decentralizing the games. Was that really the plan? From what I could remember, in February, we read a notice that indicated that the basketball city was undergoing renovations in time for the league, the senior league and the junior league would have been playing around. So how successful was the playing at different venues? Well, it was just the Rams Hitters Sandy Point.
I think it was successful in the sense that, and everybody going to jump in the vehicle and come to basketball all the time, And it's good to bring it into the community every time because the people, who ain't come out in a while and who wouldn't see at Scaba, came out in the community and support the youths and, give the kids them the full support. Because the games in Sandy Point, a couple of games in Sandy Point, and you see, we get strong support, people in the community come out. And same thing in Nevis. We had games in Nevis, and people come out to support the kids. And, it's a good thing. And all the time, the people ain't going to be able to come. So it was good in a sense in bringing it to them. So actually bring it them to the people, that they come and enjoy some good basketball and watch the youth of the future.
So would Scaba consider for the 2026 season God's Spear? Okay, let us go to some games in... Well, I don't know how the quality of the courts around the island. Well,
for this coming Saturday is the start of the senior league, the A division. We actually, as you know, because of the renovation going at the court, we decided to let it finish up everything and play outside as we will be having games in Cairn, Dorset and Sunny Point. Maybe 1 or 2 in Nevis, as we have teams from Nevis. So the senior league will be starting this Saturday. We have the first game, 6:30. We have AFC Jayhawks versus Youth and Sport Eagles out of Nevis. The second game, we have AFC Wolfpack versus a new team in the league. They call A6 Niners Las Domino. So, as they call it, a Spanish team.
So they play. Stick a pin there, Boxy. Does that mean that all or most of the players are Spanish?
Most of them, 90%.
Wow, that's good. I like that idea.
Yes, 90% of them.
I like them, and I like the fact that they're integrated into our society, our culture, and well accepted by the St. Kitts and Nevis basketball.
And these games will be played in Dorset on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we have some premier games that we have Farm Care Boardwalk Uprisers coming up against Old Road Ballhawks. Old Road Ballhawks, who came second in our A division last year, now promoted to the Premier. So they will be on showcase for the first Premier action this Sunday, 6:30. And then for the second game at 8 p.m., we're going to have Rams Hitters coming up against the defending champs, ASC Wolfpack, and Sunday, 8 p.m. And both days, games will be at Dorset Park. On Saturday, we have Jayhawks versus Youth and Sport Eagles at 6:30. And at 8 p.m., we have AFC Wolfpack versus A6 Niners Las Domino. So that's on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we have Boardwalk Uprisers coming up against Old Road Ballhawks. And then 8 p.m., we have Rams Hitters versus ASC Wolfpack Premier Team. This weekend, we have the senior league starting. As you know, they start late because of the setback of Sabah. So, but we'll be back in the communities again, so people could be looking out for basketball action in Keyon, Dorset, Sunny Point, and as I tell you, we have 1 or 2 games in Nevis.
How many teams do you have in the Premier, and could you list them for us?
We have the defending champs. We have ASC Wolfpack. We have Sunny Point Falcons, that was runner-up from last year. And then we have Rams Hitters. We have ASC Wolfpack. We have newcomers, Old Road Ballhawks. We also have newcomers, E&K Minima at Sunny Point Falcons. So we have 2 Sunny Point Falcons from the same club team in the Premier. We also have Keyon Lions, who is also in the Premier. So, and SL Hasford, St. Paul's, stuff that. So that's the 8 teams who are in the Premier.
And Keyon Lions, they won the championship a few years ago, did they? Have they ever won the championship, Keyon?
Keyon haven't won a championship. I never in Premier Championship in years. So I was a little boy. Okay.
So of the 8 clubs in the Premier, how many of them have won the national championships in the Premier before?
Well, the new Sunny Point team haven't won the championship. That's E&K Minima Sunny Point Falcons, and also Old Road Ballhawks. But E&K just win the A division and promoted to the Premier. Ballhawks was second, Old Road Ballhawks. So those 2 never won the Premier Championship. Them 2 teams never won it. ASC Wolfpack won it. Also, Boardwalk Uprisers never won the Premier Championship. So out of the 8, 3 teams have never won it.
Okay. So that the other 5 being Falcons, Sandy Point, and Hitters. I know Hitters would have won it something way back.
Multiple times.
19 times straight.
And then you have St. Paul's Tough Nut. You have Keyon Lions. And you have ASC Wolfpack, who was winning the first Premier Championship last year.
And in the A division, how many teams you have there? And could you list them for us, please?
Well, we have A6 Niners, Las Domino. We have ASC Jayhawks. We have ASC Wolfpack. We have a new team they call Skywalkers. That's from the New Road Monkey Hill area. We have Youth and Sport Raiders out of Nevis. We also have, let me see who I'm missing here. Then we have, I said Jayhawks. We have Fire and Rescue No Limit. We have the Fire and Rescue team. So we have 6 teams in the A division this year.
Okay, 6 in the A, 8 in the
Premier.
And tell us the structure of the A division. 6 teams down there when they play. First and second automatic
both leagues, we have 2 rounds of basketball. And the top 4 teams we got in a round robin for the finals, the round robin, and the 2 teams out of the robin will go into the finals. Okay. The A division is best of 3 in the finals. The Premier is best of 5.
Okay. Some years ago, I think you had a system of the top 4 teams play for the championship, etc., and the second 4, the bottom 4 team play for something else and some other trophy or something.
No, what happened? What we used to do, the bottom team would play. One of the teams then would play a team from the second team. Automatically, the championship team would go up from the A, and the bottom team from the Premier will go down. And then we have the 7th seed from the Premier play the 2nd seed from the 8th. We used to do it like that back then to see if the second team could compete to come up. If they did win the 7th seed, then they would come to the Premier. But we don't do it like that now.
That's a model being used in some competitions. The football used to use it. I never did believe in that at all. I believe you make your decision if you want 1 go up or 2 go up and 2 go down or whatever the case. And I could remember year before last, not the 2023 season, and this is football, Mantab, they came 3rd in the 1st division. They didn't lose a game. They came 3rd because they had drawn 3 matches or 4 matches or whatever, but they didn't lose a game. Then they played Spurs. Spurs was 8th in the Premiership. And so they played Spurs, and Spurs beat them 4-1, I think it was. And that was the first game they lost for the season. Spurs stayed up, and they stayed down. And
I remember, I think it happened with Sunny Point and Newtown.
Well, it happened last season with the same Mantab and Newtown on this occasion.
Yeah, Mantab and Newtown.
Mantab was 3rd, and Newtown was 4th. Newtown was 8th. So they played Newtown, and they really took advantage of Newtown. So Newtown came down, and they went up. And they're not really having a good time up there. So some may argue why, and it so happened that the 3 teams that went up for last season, they are 8, 9, and 10. So some may argue maybe they need to consider only 1, the winner going up. But somebody have to be promoted from the 1st division. But I never ever did believe in this playoff system thing. I never did. And I don't think I will ever will. But I like the way you're having it. So it gives teams the opportunity to play and win. And what's the most teams you've always had 8 clubs in the Premiership?
Yeah, he had a year we had 10, but then it was a little watered down. Some of the teams so then we cut it back to the 8. Year after COVID, we had all the teams played, and then the top 8 went to the Premier.
Okay. And how many teams, the maximum teams you have had in the A division at any one time?
Well, I remember here we had about 12 or 14 teams. I remember some time back when I used to play for Sunny Point, and we had to split. I think it was either 14, 16. We had to split it Zone A and Zone B.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, I remember some time back.
You've answered the question I would have asked. How did you manage that? How did you handle that? And
yeah, we had to use Zone A and Zone B.
There was a club out of Sandy Point. They came in the first year. They won the A division. They went to the Premier. They won the Premier as well. And I can't remember the name. But I don't think they went back to the
Sandy Point.
Sandy Point Pride. They didn't go back. So what has become of that team and the players?
Well, the team, that most of them guys started out with me actually from juniors. A lot of these guys was with the team from juniors, and there was, a discussion about changing the name of team. Well, they did approach me about changing the name of team and having one team, give it a new look and everything, and I was like, no. Since I know myself, I am a part of Falcon since 1998. I'm a part of this club as a player and now as a coach, a part of management. And I didn't believe in changing the name. And, they went and they formed their own team. Some guys left, some guys stayed. And then, things I don't know what happened to them after a while. But then a lot of players came back, things started thing, and then Falcons is still here, and then there's no longer on a Sunny Point. Okay, but most of the guys are back with Falcons. One or two are with other teams.
Fig Tree, Fig Tree Dirt Revelers. They've won the national
Well,
championship a few times as well.
yes, they well once. Once I was a part of the team when they win the championship the year versus Setters in the finals. For me with Fig Tree, I guess the team became old. The guys them started to get older, players leave. But then that is where you got into recruiting. Because actually I had players from Fig Tree, always from Fig Tree was a part of the junior team. So maybe some of these guys, they should have bring them in and trust them to go with the team.
Mm-hmm.
But then after some of the players them started to get old and, the team started to fall apart. So I think in that case with Fig Tree I would say is the rebuilding process.
Mm-hmm.
Is building, to maintain. Let me tell you something. You have to be dedicated with this thing. As I tell you, I'm doing this since 06, 2006, and you got to be dedicated in terms of like video. As tonight I had practice, with the team, Winkham, but you got to always, because the guys, they have to be more than a coach. Sometimes you got to be a father, a brother, uncle, because they look up to you to do a lot of things. They got to be there for them. You have to be more than basketball. Like with my club, we go beach, we go church, we do different things. So these kind of things keep the guys together. You got to look like more of a brotherhood. Some guys just come play basketball and that's it at the end of the day. But in order to keep these guys, they got to do things. They got to be,
But you have to be counselor.
With them.
You have to be banking institutions. Yep. You have to be teachers.
Yep.
Everything. And
nobody is perfect. Nobody's perfect. Everybody gonna get their flaws, but still they got to work with each other, help each other, be there for each other.
And that's the important thing. That sounds like a family rather than a bunch of guys
just
coming and playing.
Trust me, I've been through it all. And, I traveled with my team. I went to Tatola, Munster, we went to Station, different places. So I did it all. So there's a lot of things we do. Anytime financially it could be hard on you. They ain't got the help. Getting shoes for these players who don't have it. Some of them got to take the school shoes, so you got to go buy shoes, do all these things. So it's a lot. It's a lot, and you got to be dedicated. It ain't easy. So anytime it hurts you to see, like, you got players and you're there for them all the time, and then they leave, you go to a next team, and then you got players. But these things happen. Some people go over, some people get fed up, so these things that happen. So it's just dedication. You got to be strong and willing to be there. You got to be there, as I tell you.
Indeed. Let's get back to the Premiership, which starts on Saturday, you said, or Sunday?
Sunday, the Premier. The A Division is on Saturday and Premier on Sunday.
What time would the basketball city, when would it be in a position to accommodate games, to host games there? Whether
we as an executive, on an executive standpoint, we decided to keep games out of basketball city so they could do a complete, because it don't make no sense. They do some, and then we start to play games, and then they take a while to come back and complete it. So the best decision was to let this year 2025 league play outside of Canaba, basketball city, and let them complete everything, and then we start afresh in January. And we start off with the junior league. Hopefully that everything is complete by January next year.
So you're saying then that all of your Premier and A-League matches would be played outside of Basketball City?
Yes. And as I tell you, we have 4 venues, which is Keyan, Sunny Point, Barcy and Dorset, and Nevis.
Okay. That's a good idea, to play out and give them the opportunity to complete. And
yes.
What is when is the opening for each night? Is there an opening for the 2025 senior season, or are you going to have an opening for the A division and an opening ceremony for the Premier? No.
We're going straight into games. Because of the lateness.
Okay.
Because of the lateness, and I know actually by June we actually wrap it up of the senior league. Because we try to get the juniors out the way early, because, some of them do CXC and the college and for exams. So we always start in January and try to finish that before the Easter holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And then we start the seniors after. Seniors now we done like June, first week in July. at the end of June, early July. Once depending on the weather and everything. Yeah, so, but with this, we're looking at probably like finish like September, late August, September.
Okay. That sounds like super stuff. And could you remind us again of the games on what days are you playing? You mentioned Saturday and Sunday, but what other days are you playing?
Well, normally Premier games are played on Thursdays and Sundays. A division games are played on Tuesdays and Saturdays. When we have WINN games that are scheduled for Monday and Wednesday.
Monday, Wednesday.
Is for we schedule games, like in case of rain or anything, a team have to go to any funeral, do any kind of anything you don't know. So Mondays and Wednesdays are for we schedule game. Tuesdays and Saturdays for A division game. Thursday and Sunday for Premier games.
Friday you don't have any games. You allow people to go party.
No, we don't have games on Friday.
Okay then. So could you give us the fixture for Saturday, the fixture for Sunday? Well, the first 2 days, so hold a sec. The first 2 days in the Premier, the first 2 days in the A division. And times, venues and times.
I have the first day for Saturday and Sunday for A and Premier. Saturday we have 6:30. We have ASC Jayhawks versus Youth and Sports Eagles at 6:30 p.m. Then at 8 p.m. we have ASC Wolfpack versus 869ers Las Domingo. That's 8 p.m. These games will be at Dorset Park in Bastia. And on Sunday, the 11th, which is Mother's Day, we have Farm Care Boardwalk Advisors versus Old Road Ballhawks at 6:30 p.m. And then at 8 p.m. we have Ram Hitters versus ASC Wolfpack.
Okay. Well, we say congratulations to you, Boxy, in your capacity as coach of the Rams Sandy Point Futa Falcons, winning the championship, and your record speaks for itself. We say congratulations to the new persons who are now on the executive of the St. Kitts and Nevis Amateur Basketball Association, SCANABA, and to your association for the start of the 2025 season, notwithstanding the challenges you may have had, but going ahead, because we know basketball is one of the big names in St. Kitts and Nevis when it comes to sport, especially the turnout you'll be having, the excitement. Would streaming be done? Would the games be streamed?
Yeah, normally we stream some of the games. We streamed some of the games last year, Premier and A Division. So some of these games will be streamed.
Okay, that's wonderful. And what about your sponsors? Any sponsors for any of the leagues?
Well, so far, our National Bank, we're still talking to sponsors in terms of trying to get a sponsor for the A Division League. And we have National Bank on board for the Premier League.
Okay, so anybody want to shout out, members, anyone who contributed to make sure the basketball season gets off the ground this year, sponsors, etc.?
Well, to say a big shout out to the Olympic Committee, always there, support, especially when it comes to the youth, juniors of basketball. I have to give credit to National Bank also for being there with us for quite some time. All the club sponsors, some teams can't do without the sponsor, jerseys have to buy and all this stuff. You have Rams, Hasford, Sol. You have Farm Care, all the different team sponsors for being there for them. Even if I leave out your name, enough respect to you still, because, the teams, them also need the support. So, but if anybody willing to come on board and be a part of sponsor, we could also have a next sponsor for the Premier. We're looking at sponsor for the A Division. So anybody out there in radio land listening and willing to come on board to be a sponsor, anything would count, small contribution, large contribution, anything would mean well to the association.
What about contact information? If I wanted to be a sponsor, who do I call?
Well, you could contact the president, Mr. Jeffords. You could always contact the president, Mr. Glenn Jeffords. Contact is 662-2827.
Okay, that's wonderful. And before you slip away, 3x3 basketball, that has been becoming a big thing. Do you have your association, would you have any plans of having a 3x3 competition at the senior level, at
Well,
the school level?
we're looking forward to having one later down in the summer also to have an under 16. Well, this under 16 tournament is a part of a collaboration with Mr. James Barman Hanley. I think it will be called the Glen Ghost Phillip under 16 basketball league. But with the TNT, we just had a team came back from Guyana. So it's, I think, 6. And I think they did well out of all those teams, you know. So congratulations to them guys. First time we actually compete and win a few games in the TNT tournament. Yes, it's becoming a big thing. It's popular. We also have some plans to have some TNT tournament coming up in the summer. So, you know, I will keep you updated as we look forward into having these events and let you know what's going on with basketball. So there's an 18 tournament supposed to be in St. Martin. I think they switched the dates because of CXC exam. They push it from this month to later down, I think, in July, you know, because most of the islands was complaining the kids them have CXC. So there's the next tournament coming up. So you have a couple tournaments around that we're looking forward to compete and be a part in.
Coaching and umpiring, any courses coming up for them?
Any
umpires courses, coaches courses. Of course,
we're also looking for anybody out there listening in Radioland willing to be a referee and willing to be trained to be Canaba referee, also to be a desk official, you know. So your assistance will be good if you could willing to give your support to the sport of basketball. So we really appreciate it.
Mr. Crossley, it has been indeed a pleasure talking to you tonight, talking with you, and we congratulate you on behalf of the On the Ball program, on behalf of yours truly, Troy Bif Mills and WINN FM 98.9. We congratulate you and the St. Kitts and Nevis Amateur Basketball Association on the tremendous job you have been doing over the years, and it sounds like this season is going to be just as exciting or even more exciting than the previous years. So we hope that you have a very safe and injury-free season, as well as a very successful and competitive one. Congratulations and the best wishes.
Thanks much, and you know, everybody out there in Radio Land listening, thanks for having me. You guys there, the panel, thanks for having me. Hope you guys have a great night and continue to have a wonderful show this evening.
And thank you very much. You've been listening to the PRO of the St. Kitts and Nevis Amateur Basketball Association's Canaba, Mr. Sean Crossley, who was updating us on what is happening in the basketball world. The Senior League is setting up to start on the week. The A-League, both the A-League and the Senior League, the Premiership, is setting up to start on Saturday and Sunday, respectively. So we say congratulations to you folks, and we actually wish you all the best. And stick and stay. We're going to take a very short break. Don't go away, and we will be right back with you on the ball. Our guest is already in studio, so when we come back, we'll go straight into our guest at On the Ball, WINN FM 98.9. Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune into On the Ball, a weekly talk show which is on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Bif Mills on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. WINN FM.
Welcome back to On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9. I am Troy Bif Mills, having the pleasure and the privilege and honor to be your host. We've had our first guest for the night, Mr. Sean Bucksy Crossley, the PRO of the St. Kitts and Nevis Amateur Basketball Association. We now have another guest, second and final. But before we go, we big up Mr. Burl Jones, who is on and listening. And he was indeed the first to log on. He says, like the way how you say hello to the ones having a ball, but guess what? I'm extending that. They are having a ball with you on the ball. I like that. They're having a ball on with you on the ball. And well, I was just about to abuse because I expected to see Mr. Philip Hendrickson, Eustace Eusty. And he says, stay on the ball, plenty of opportunity, traveling, getting good. Well, may as well show about the part, Eustace, for your talent and skills. Thanks for your input, Eustace. And we just logged on to it. I have to find a better way to manage the messages from Facebook and the YouTube. That's really a full-time job. But I can't understand how people will be doing that all day. Even WhatsApp. You know, there's a lady I talking to, and I believe, and a few ladies, but there's one who, I don't know why. Maybe she enjoy talking with me on WhatsApp, but it's like a full-time day. From the time I go and come back a half an hour, I see 20-something messages. I don't know. Maybe it's the blue shirt I'm wearing or maybe the glass or the ball head. I don't know. But we say good evening to another guest here at On the Ball. Good evening, sir. How are you? Could you tell us a bit about yourself, sir?
Good evening, Mr. Mills. Good evening to the man behind the scenes. Here at WINN FM, my name is Inspector John Berg, and I'm a police officer. Veteran, I would say, 36 years of service to this nation. I am here from the Security Forces United Football Club to update the nation on our plans, preparations, and all the latest updates as to getting ready for our summer camp, which happens in 2.5 months from today. So I am here. I am happy to be back on the ball with you, Mr. Mills, here at WINN FM, and I am at your disposal to answer any question that you may have.
Oh, that's wonderful. How much money you get in your bank account? I'm just kidding there. Of course, we say good evening to Miss Ann Buchanan. She is from the St. Peter's region. She is living, is in New York? Yes, I think New York. Good evening to you, Ann. How are you doing? Mr. Hugo Richardson down in Tortola. He's normally logged on. And there's a gentleman, what's his correct name? I can't remember. They call him Chacha, Aras Mulungo, out of Sandy Point, but SP with the best be. He's in St. Thomas as well. St. Croix. Good evening, folks. Thanks for listening. And we say good evening to Miss Jane Howe over in Nevis. She's doing some work, we understand, with some boxing. And bam, bam, bam. That's a sport I never really got too involved in. But before we get in, Mr. Borgon, with your permission, sir, we'll just a flash flood watch statement that has been effected from the Robert Llewellyn Batcher International Airport, St. Kitts Meteorological Services, St. Christopher Nevis Airport, Air and Seaport Authorities, and it is saying flash flood watch Antigua and Barbuda, and it comes out of Antigua and Barbuda, Tuesday, May 6, 2025. A flash flood watch is in effect for low-lying and flood-prone areas of Antigua, Barbuda, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis until 12 noon tomorrow, Wednesday, May 7th, 2025. A flash flood watch means that moderate to major flooding is possible, but not imminent in the watch area. Residents in low-lying area and flood-prone areas should make preparations to safeguard life and property by moving to higher ground if flooding rains develop or a flash flood warning issued. A trough over the Leeward Islands is creating unstable conditions over the area. This, along with favorable conditions which is forecast to develop in the upper atmosphere, could further enhance the potential for heavier showers into early tomorrow, which could lead to flooding in some areas. This watch could be upgraded to a warning at short notice. I'll read that again. This flash flood watch could be upgraded to a warning at short notice. So I'm understanding that to say it could be upgraded to a flash flood warning in very short notice. The Antigua and Barbuda Meteorological Services will continue to monitor the weather situation. Please stay tuned to local radio or television for watch updates and possible warnings. Forecaster Leonard Josiah. Thank you very much for that information, Mr. Josiah. And we know Bastille is basically below sea level and all the other line areas. And you don't have to be below sea level once you're in a flood-prone area. We know Westbourne College Street readily comes to mind, so we have to be careful of that. Thank you very much for your patience, Mr. Bergen, and allow me to go a little bit off course there. Welcome again. Security forces, police officers. Police, how involved is, how are the police using sport, particularly football, to get the message about crime involved and get in bite and take a bite out of crime?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Mills. As I said, my name is Inspector Borgon, and I am here to speak about the third annual Crime Intervention Summer Soccer Camp that is slated from Monday 21st July to August 1st. A 2 weeks camp for boys and girls ages 5 to 17. The security forces, in collaboration with the National Intervention Team of the Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force, is heavily involved in fostering youth development through sports and recreation, which aligns with community values of inclusivity, health, and well-being. And our mission basically resonates with the corporate world, not only that, but the government as well, in promoting physical activities, mental health, social skills among youths, thereby contributing to a healthier and more cohesive community. The reason why the security forces partnered with the National Intervention Team is because the National Intervention Team is the arm of the Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force that carries out the mandate of community policing. They are charged with community policing. They are involved in going into the schools, dealing with situations dealing with antisocial behavior. They also work with groups in terms of how young people should conduct themselves. And so we are happy to be partnering with the National Intervention Team because our youths are the future, and we see sports as an engine to bring our young people, to keep them on the straight and narrow, to make something out of their life, to become productive citizens here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And that is the reason why we are so heavily involved in youth development through football, the game of football.
This is the third year you said you're having it, I think?
This is the third annual
annual
crime intervention, yes, summer camp.
Who actually came up with the idea about all of this? When? And you basically mentioned the why part of it.
Yes.
But who came up with the idea, and when was the idea born?
Okay, so as I indicated before, the security forces, we were involved in youth programs. We had at the time we began a youth program at the Seventh Adventist Primary School in 2018. We began thinking about having a summer camp in 2021 after the coming out of COVID. We had a short, small camp between the children who were attending the Seventh Adventist and coming to our program, where we meet with them every morning at Flow Ground, and then Flow Ground, and having the summer camp. In 2022, we replicated the same thing. However, in 2023, and I give you a story about a gentleman who walked into my office at the Sandy Point Magistrate Court. He heard about our program. His name is Dr. Isaac Newton. And he indicated, hey, with so much that is happening around us, why not make it a national initiative rather than just 40 children? And so myself and him sat in our office and we made contact with a gentleman, he was in England at the time by the name of Beresford Mac. He's no stranger to St. Kitts and Nevis. He's heavily involved in basketball from way back in the days of Glenn Ghost Phillip, Marty Huggins and them kind of fellows there. So, and he has family in St. Kitts as well. Dr. Newton, he is the special advisor to Dr. Denzel Douglas. So he is basically living on island 8 to 10 months every year. And so between the three of us, we sat down and we mapped out having a national crime intervention summer football program. And we made some network. We contacted some networks. Beresford, Dr. Newton, they would have been able to contact some persons. And in 3.5 weeks, we planned the summer camp and pulled it off in 2023. And it was a tremendous success. So much so that one of the participants in the camp received a 2-year scholarship to travel to the United States. And then last year, the camp saw a greater success where we involved True Life Sports out of England and Beresford Foundation as well, Reach One, Teach One, out of the United States, and his England was able to bring in a number of international coaches from England. Some of the top clubs in England. We had coaches from Arsenal, from West Ham. We had coaches. One coach came from Newcastle, and we had
big names.
Yeah, we had some coaches. Some youth. These are qualified youth coaches who are working in those big clubs, youth academies. So they are familiar with working with children and, structuring their curriculum to fit what we were trying to do down here. I want to thank the guys, Dr. Newton and Beresford, along with Richie Alicock. He's one of the part owner of True Life Sports in England, who have done a tremendous job in just a short space of time. So that is how this summer camp came about. The security forces would have, my group would have jumped on board, and they are a wonderful group of people working together the last 3 years to make this summer camp a success.
Children, how many children have you said it's been successful. How many children have you had on the programs for the different years? Do you have those figures available?
Yes, so in 2023, we registered 214 children. We registered 214 children. But the highest average we had was 175 on a daily basis for that 2 weeks period.
175?
175.
And what year was that again?
That was 2 years ago in 2023.
Okay.
July. And then last year we would have seen our biggest numbers, over 300 children.
Wow, from 175 to 300.
Yes, last year. And it was overwhelming for the coaches. We did not have enough coaches last year, even though we had 14 coaches from overseas.
Wow.
We did not have enough some coaches had like 40-something children dealing with, and that is unheard of. The international standard is one coach for 16 children.
16?
So you
and
could
yeah,
imagine.
40 plus, like 3 times the amount.
3 times the amount they should be having. And so we were hoping that through a partnership with government and our local corporate partners, we would have been able to replicate what we did last year. And we're still hopeful. We're still drumming up the support from the business community, from the government, to ensure that we can have a successful camp again this year. We are just waiting for the word as to the flights, the accommodation, and the amenities that comes with the international coaches coming in to facilitate the 2 weeks program.
What are you thinking about a period so far for this year? Have you identified that?
Yes, I mentioned the date. The date of the camp will be Monday, 21st July to Friday, August 1st. So it's right in the smack of Culturama. And I said Culturama because we are hoping that the coaches who are coming in will be able to enjoy both St. Kitts and Nevis at the same time, and things are looking up. The program is designed to young people into positivity, into making a life for themselves, creating opportunities for our young people. And I will speak more about some of the deliverables from last year, if you permit me.
Of course. The show is all about you.
Some of the deliverables we had from last year, some of the benefits that we had last year. Following the completion of the camp, we had a 4-member team traveling to England for a 2 weeks apprenticeship training. And these persons, Sergeant Charmaine Odain, she's the head of the National Intervention Team. She would have been introduced to a number of social activities, antisocial initiatives there in England. A lot of what she would have bring back to St. Kitts, and I know she have some big plans for initiating some of these programs that she would have seen in England, especially in some of the most vulnerable areas here in St. Kitts and Nevis. We also had Bumpy Morris. He was a coach, and he has been on the program from the onset. The local, I would say, I call him the local technical director for the summer camp. He has been there the last 2 years, and he's on board again with us this year. So he would have benefited from that 2 weeks apprenticeship in England last year as well as 2 goalkeepers went off, and they were in the academy, and they would have introduced to Tottenham Hotspurs. They would have been introduced to other clubs in England, not Premier clubs, but other clubs like in the EFL and lower tier. So they had a real good time over there in that England. We are hoping that we can replicate that again this year. Another deliverable that we had from last summer camp, following the completion of the summer camp, the coaches identified national player Kai Tratman And Kai Chapman recently received a full 4-year scholarship to attend a university in the United States by the name of Bethany University, somewhere in Missouri. He will be going to college for 4 years, and hopefully will be graduating by the year 2029, thereabout, with a bachelor's degree. So there are opportunities for to derive from hosting the summer camp, and that's the reason why we're so passionate about it, in terms of getting young people, especially who have a bright future. If you can't make it in the professional arena, you can have an opportunity to gain a college or a university degree.
We say goodnight to Zeke Percival and also Lavi Herbert, lovely Lavi, of Let's Get Real Talk.
Real Talk, Lavi, yes.
Real Talk, Lavi. They're online. Thank you very much for joining us. And On the Ball is for anybody and everybody. And, of course, Zeke in charge of the Golf St. Christopher Golf Club.
Yes.
And we're going to be having him sometime here. But age category
so
the participants.
Last year, we catered for age 7 to 17. But we recognize that there are some 5-year-olds and some 6-year-olds who was robbed of an opportunity to come in to be engaged by the international coaches. And so we are gauging this year for age 5 to 17. We are putting the mechanisms in place to deal with the younger ones, especially because, they're harder to deal with. They have a lesser attention span, so you have to make sure that you have enough persons to deal with that group in particular, because they lose focus easily. And so we have to engage them and make sure that they have a good time. The camp, it will run for Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. every day, Monday to Friday for the 2 weeks. We are hoping that the camp, we can go across to Nevis the Saturday of the first week so that we can introduce the Nevis end to what we are doing. In the event of they are interested in us hosting a similar camp on Nevis. Mm-hmm. We tried, but I guess it didn't work out. We were trying to replicate to have the camp simultaneously happening on St. Kitts and happening on Nevis at the same time. But, the support wasn't there financially. As I said earlier in my presentation, it's a big undertaking. It takes money to host a camp when you're bringing in overseas coaches. You have to pay airline, you have to pay to put them up, you have to pay to feed them, transportation, and it's a big undertaking. Easily this camp, the budget for this camp, it's over 100,000 US. People ask how we get it done.
Well, I was going to ask about the budget.
Yeah, but by the grace of God, we have done it. We have the first year we did it in 3.5 weeks. So last year we had more time to play with, but it came down to 3 hours. 3 hours I am at Marriott's with my wife at a church event, and I am outside on the phone 10 o'clock in the night, which is 2 o'clock England time, 3 o'clock then England time. And we are wondering how we are going to get these coaches down to St. Kitts with all this stuff that they're going to utilize in the camp. 23 bags of equipments, balls, bibs, cones, so many things. I was on the phone, my wife works with me, but I had to make it happen. And by the grace of God, we were able to reach out to a good friend in New York, Mr. Stuart Williams, call him Pepper. He is the president of the SPBS in New York.
He was able to Benevolent Society.
Yes, he was able to jump on board and make it happen for us. Of course, we would have reimbursed him, but these are the people who have been there supporting us, who believe in what we're doing. And I really want to say good night to my good friend there, Peppers in Pennsylvania, Dr. Stuart Williams from Sandy Point. He's the president of the SPBS, and also my good sister there as well in New Jersey, Tessa Allen Dunleavy, and also a good friend of mine, Trace Livingston. He's in New Jersey as well. He's in charge. He's the manager for his company, the Humble Beginnings Manufacturing. These three persons in particular have been very supportive of this summer program and have been trying their weight behind this program. We say thanks to SPBS Humble Beginnings and Tessa for continued support of. They mainly support us in providing the uniforms for the children. And again this year they're on board with us. We know that President Trump has come down with a number of tariffs, but we are hoping that getting the uniforms will be, a big thing for these children looking so lovely in the uniforms. So I want to say thanks as well to our local partners who have jumped on board already. The Embassy of the Republic of China, Taiwan, Ambassador Lin have supported us in the last 3 years, of course. This year we have a big sponsor. Well, not a big sponsor, but someone who is very enthusiastic about the program and want to jump on board. Delta Petroleum, I want to say good night to the regional manager for Delta Petroleum, Mr. Bevis Sylvester, and his team over there. They heard about the program and would have said, hey, whatever you need, we're here to support you. And we want to say thanks to Delta Petroleum, also the St. Kitts Biomedical Research. They have jumped on board this year as well, and they have been our partners in the past, as well as National Bank, NCI, so far. In terms of the cable, they are on board as well. So we want to thank our local corporate partners who have joined us so far, and we want to say, hey, this is a worthy initiative. The reason I said that is because following the end of the summer camp last year, we realized that these children gone back into the communities and they don't have nothing to do. And so in October, thereabout last year, when the Prime Minister would have announced a 90-day crime prevention initiative, we said we want to do something in the community, and so we launched a Saturday grassroots football program. It's been continued since October last year. We have been every Saturday morning we bring almost 100 children to NCI ground to engage them in football all year round. It's an all year round program. It's called the New Generation Grassroots Football Program. Every Saturday morning we are at NCI grounds from 9 to 12. The same thing.
NCI grounds, where is that, please?
Formerly known as Flow Ground.
Okay, that's up at Wellington Road.
Wellington Road. Needmos.
Airport, Needmos.
Yeah.
Okay, just in case persons don't know.
As we know, National Caribbean Insurance has purchased the property. The playing area, let me say that, the playing ground. The play field from Flow since last year, September. So they are now the proud owner of the facility, and they have been partnering with us ever since. And we want to thank Flo for the years that they have supported us. I mean, Flo, they provide, they cut the field for us free of cost. We use the field every day of the week. NCI has done the same for us. And we are really proud of these companies who have supported us over the past 6-7 years. We have been there. As a matter of fact, I tell people we turn Flow Ground into a football facility, because I remember over on the side when we went to Mr. Frank and we said we want to use up here the football. He said, well, over here is cricket. So I ain't got to go over there. And we turn out, that small facility they have taken our senior men's team to the Premier Division 3 times now. Okay. We're in the Premier Division again, not doing too well. But that facility has taken us to the Premier Division on 3 different occasions. And so we want to thank St. Kitts and Nevis, for all the support they give to us. The parents, our teams, our youths, thanks for all the support that we get from you in making a difference in our young people's life.
Mr. Borgan, we have a message here. We are excited to be part of this camp, and we have seen the impact of the camp and how the Security Forces initiative have had an effective outcome on addressing crime and antisocial behavior in St. Kitts. And it's coming from Reach One, Teach One. That's the person who sent it.
Yes.
And Mr. Zeke Percival, he's saying, good job. So our listeners, our viewers, they're really, really very appreciative of the program, the security forces, and the crime intervention. What's the
Crime
name?
intervention, summer soccer camp.
Soccer camp.
Yes.
What you're doing. You mentioned, well, you did mention 100,000+ US, which by any means is not a small amount. How is the budget faring up for this year? How many children are you thinking about? You did mention that you're going down to 5. So it's 5 and 6 year olds coming in. But are you expanding the age, that's 6 to 7 years? Are you going from 300 plus what it was last year to another 350, 400 this year?
Well, we recognize the challenge that we had this last year, Mr. Mills. And we are catering for 300 children this year, the same as last year, because we have the database already with all those children who were there last year. Of course, some of the bigger ones, they may have fallen off because of age, but the smaller ones who are coming in now will make up for that, right?
Okay.
So we're hoping to stick with the 300, as well as we're hoping when we go to Nevis, we can see another 100 or 125 there. So that's the whole idea of touching both St. Kitts and Nevis. We don't want to overextend ourselves again this year, and so we're trying to stick with the 300 and St. Kitts, which is more manageable. As I said, each coach should have only about 16, the maximum.
So 16 divided by 300, we're talking about roughly
16
nearly,
to 30 goes once. Yeah.
nearly 20 coaches.
You need about 20 coaches. So right there and then, and I keep saying, I've said it to my bosses, commissioner, I've said it to the ministry, this camp will not be successful without our overseas international coaches. It will not be as impactful. Yeah, we can have it. Yeah, we can have this camp with local coaches, but it will come down to availability of these coaches because everybody have to work.
And the national team and the local clubs.
Yeah, it's a local club. It's not a national WINN FM. So, but we have a core of coaches that is there every Saturday. We have about 12 coaches who facilitate our program every Saturday, and we have our in-house coaches for the female team, the youth teams, and the senior male team. We are hoping to incorporate these persons, as well as we're going to probably need 1 or 2 more volunteers, persons who we would have trained, because we're not just about football, Mr. Mills. We're about training coaches as well, and we conduct local coaches with the assistance of FIFA instructor Lenny Lake, who have been very instrumental and supportive of our programs here. With the security forces, we have had coaching courses for a number of these coaches who are every Saturday with us, and also on the summer camp, and so I'm looking forward to the support again going forward. Mr. Lake has been a very, very, very good partner for us, and we appreciate him very much. He and Diane Brown as well. They have been really putting their weight behind what we are doing with youth development here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Even Lenny always speak about youth.
Yes.
He prefer to coach youths than to coach
the senior players.
The senior players, yeah.
He has always been like that. Mr. Morgan, I'm so sorry. With all this good news, I have to break your heart. No, not with the time, but I have seen some results from the FA Cup match. SL Horsford St. Paul's United versus Security Limited.
Security Forces.
Elko Limited Security Forces United. 6-0 at halftime, 9-0 at the end of 90 minutes. So you had a better second half. Only let it in 3 goals as opposed to 6 in the first half. So you're now gonna, as old people say, hang up your boots. Security forces, you're gonna hang up your boots and come back next year in the FA Cup again. And the league champions, the defending league champions, and the current President Cup champions going through. And the SL Horsford St. Paul's, they lost 2-0 in the final of the FA Cup last year to Montreal Farms, Clean Right United Old Road Jets.
Yeah.
So you have my empathy on that loss, Mr. Bergen. And we were thinking that we had high hopes for you because you scored your first goal of the season in a 3-0 victory in the FA Cup just last week.
Yes.
But you're out again. So you have our empathy there. In terms of a cost, is there, and thank you, good night, Mr. Don Grant, who is also in on the program. He said security forces doing right. We appreciate that. And there's a Charmaine Oden, I think that's the Sergeant Charmaine Oden.
Yes.
To our community members, we are excited to announce the 3rd Annual Prevention Summer Camp, Soccer Camp 2025, which is what Mr. Bergen is here talking about. A powerful initiative aimed at engaging, empowering, and positively shaping the lives of our youth. Through sports, mentorship, and life skills training, the camp provides a safe, supportive environment where young people can go, learn, and thrive. But we can't do it alone. We are calling on kind-hearted businesses, and organizations to partner with us in this life-changing effort. And Ms. Oden, you're making me get goosebumps, girl. And where are we? In life-changing effort. Whether through monetary donations or in-kind contributions, such as sports gear, water, snacks, or volunteer time, your support matters. Together we can invest in our youth and help build stronger, safer communities. To contribute or learn more about how you can assist, let's stand together and give our youth the support they need to succeed on and off the field with gratitude. And we thank you very much, Ms. Oden, for that input. We really appreciate that. And the way you put it, you're giving me goosebumps. And I thank you for being a part of the On The Ball program here at WINN FM 98.9. Is there a fee to register to be a part of this camp?
Yes. The last year we charged a minimum of $25 because we had support, but we are looking to up it. Not much this year. We're looking at $40 this year because of the challenges we have in getting sponsorship, so that we can offset some of the expenses that we have. And that $40 registration fee will get you a uniform, a full kit uniform, a well-designed full kit uniform.
When you say full kit, what do you mean?
You get a top, a pants, and a pair of socks.
For $40?
$40.
The socks alone nearly cost $40. But anyway, continue.
Yeah,
Mr.
we have unlimited water for the children. We have our sponsor, Powerade, Cascab. They are on board again with us this year, giving us isotonic drinks.
Big words, isotonic.
Yeah, well, energy drink then. Yeah, so a lot comes with that $40. You get football training, you get life skill training, you get water bottles. We hoping to go to Nevis, as I said, the first Saturday of the camp. And so we're going to take some of the children up, if not all, if we can, depending if we get sponsorship, to go across to Nevis to engage our Nevis children as well, so that they can have a feeling of what we're doing. We did it in the first year. We took about 65 children over the first year. Last year was a bit more challenging financially, but we are hoping, based on our discussion with a recent sponsor last week, that we can go across to Nevis and have a great time over there, spend a day over there with the children.
I appreciate what you and your team are doing, Mr. Bergen. $40, that's really a giveaway for even the uniform kit. That's going to cost roughly perhaps $100. Pair of socks is what, $15, $20. A pants is another $20, $25. Correct. So right away that's $40. A shirt is going to be roughly about $50. So we're talking about $100 there kit, and you get plus the water and the Powerade and the isotonic drinks, according to you, and things like that.
Yes.
So this is an opportunity that parents don't want to miss. And with all of this happening, I am seeing you're going to be having more than the 300 applications, and we have a message here, Mr. Borgan. The members of the Royal St. Kitts Golf Club will sponsor 12 children, and it's coming from Zeke Percival, the president of the St. Kitts Golf Club, pardon me. And we thank you very much. And I allow you, Mr. Borgan, to thank Mr. Zeke Percival.
Well, I want to say a special thank you to my good friend Zeke Percival over there at the St. Christopher Golf Club. We really appreciate it. Thank you for coming on board. And you have just blessed my heart. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Molly Media is also bigging up Inspector Borgan. We thank you, Mr. Molly Media, and being a part of the on the ball and listening and the encouragement. It means a lot, because when you're doing these programs, and especially when you're thinking about 100 and something US, not knowing where the funding is going to come from, it's important. But at the end of the day, and the hard work, you go home and you see this, when you reflect on the smiles on the children's faces, and 2, 3, 4 years down the road, because you mentioned Dr. Williams, Stuart Williams.
Yeah.
He taught me physics when I was at Sandy Point High School. You mentioned Miss Tessa Allen, and you called her name. Dennehy?
Yeah.
I taught general science at Sandy Point High School.
Yes.
So there's that kind of relationship between the three of us.
Wonderful.
But it's never easy, one, putting these programs in place, and two, actually implementing them, managing them. And I must commend your security forces, Mr. Borgan, and the National Crime Intervention Program, because it is yielding success. You mentioned one of the youngsters got a full scholarship.
Yes, he'll be going off to Bethany College, University in August, to start school in August.
That's wonderful. Where is he from? What part of the island is from?
Kai Chapman? Keon.
Yes, Keon.
Yeah,
that's
Keon
the goalkeeper.
The national goalkeeper.
Okay, yes, he had a 2-week tryout, 2.5-week tryout somewhere.
In Atlanta. Atlanta.
I used to try a little goalkeeping myself, and I like to see him. I like how he's moving, and I'm extremely glad to hear that he is moving on. I would like to see more of it being done, not only by the individual clubs, but the FA as well, getting involved. How involved have they been in this program? The St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association.
The St. Kitts Nevis Football Association, they have been supportive of our initiative. As a matter of fact, the president was at the program last year. He visited and met with the international coaches as a way of networking with some of these coaches. We see it as a partnership. As a matter of fact, we are going to be having a meeting on Thursday of this week. I got a call from the director of sports, Mr. Jeffrey Pedro Hazel, because we recognized last year everybody was having camps at the same time. And we recognized that Ministry of Sports was down in Warner Park. We up at Flow Ground with 300 children. We invited we invited the sports department to come to our camp for the first week. So they came and they get jerseys and everything. And so we are hoping to build on that this year. We're having a meeting later this week with Mr. Hazel to see if we can be under the same umbrella this year for the 2 weeks. We also catered for the other people who normally have their camp the first week after school closed. So we were mindful of that, and our camp now dropped the second week after school closed, so that it don't interfere with Finita Brown's girls camp. It don't interfere with the fire and rescue summer fire camp, and so we really consider it, because everybody should have an involvement in youth development. And you were speaking earlier about this is a lot of hard work, Mr. Mills. Sometimes you get up. Sometimes by 4 o'clock in the morning, you got to be up trying to prepare for the day ahead of you. You're not reaching back home until in the night, and you got to go again next morning. So it's like that. I want to say, though, this camp has been very successful. We have seen a drastic reduction in serious crimes in St. Kitts and Nevis. For example, shooting homicides. Since last year's summer camp, I can say I don't recall we had any shooting deaths from September to now. And that's more wonderful. So since we started the Saturday program. Not that these are the little things in society that helps. Of course, and so we don't want to take credit for it, because the Ministry of National Security, the government, they are stakeholders, the citizen safety program that was formed last year. You know, they are doing a good job in terms of keeping our citizens and residents safe. You know, but I want to mention that serious crimes in terms of homicides have been down. And that is testament to the work that we're doing in our communities. The Saturday program is bringing children from right around the island. Every Saturday they're coming from St. Paul's, from Sadlers, from Tabernacle, from Mansion, Sandy Point, Old Road, we from St. Peter's. We bring children from right around the island every Saturday, and we engage them with our social skills and our football skills activities. So these programs are working. We need to see more of it happening because we can't do it by ourselves, but we are doing our part. We are doing our part to raise our children to become productive citizens. What makes me happy is seeing our children growing up and becoming productive in life, becoming their own bosses, going off to university, because a lot of them will not make it professionally, so, which is obvious, but we need to see more of our children going off to university. And that is why we are working so hard with these youths and engaging with our international network people to get them into college. What we recognize with these programs, it's better to get the children out there like when they're 14 and 15. I know it's hard for a parent to give up their child, but that is the best time to get them in the US, to get them in a high school. And with their skill, they will be able to get scholarships right there. You know, and so my team in the US, they are working, Beresford and my coach G, Nicholas Goddard, they are working to get our youths in the US at an earlier age, because when children down here reach 16 and they're done with high school, they're thinking about working. They don't want to hear not about the school.
Yeah, that's important.
Some of them don't want to go CFB now. So if we can get them out there with their talent at an early age when they're 15, like the youngsters them who went off to Jamaica last year, you get them in the system early so that there's opportunity for them to utilize sports and education at the same time. That is what makes me happy, rather than just say, no, he could play, he make the national team and that's it. What happened when the national team done?
Indeed.
You know? So my thing about these youths, young people, is to get them into university. Let the FA is responsible for them getting into professional tryouts. I want to see my youths, them coming up and going to college, making a life for themselves. That is my passion. That is why I'm putting in my effort into these youths and young people. I was telling somebody the other day, you see the Sunny Point team that is there now. A lot of them I coach when they were 6, 7, 8, down in Sunny Point with Schumacher and them, you know. And see they representing Sunny Point now. They have grown up. And that makes me happy. They're staying out of trouble. You know, and so that is why we're working so hard with these youths.
I believe in bending the tree while it's young, and I must commend your association for stepping down to the 5-year, 6-year-old. Because when I was director of culture, I remember I had a meeting with my drumming specialist, Wyatt Phipps. We were doing drumming in primary school and high school. I said, why, Wyatt? What do you think about doing drumming in preschool? Why, watch me as if to say, Mr. Director, you sound like you're crazy, man. But my thinking is, if we could get the youth involved in sports and culture, be it masquerade. Yes, they're not going to perfect the masquerade dancing and the bull dancing and the cricket and the football or whatever in the preschool. In the preschool, we could see them in track and field. You start to identify who is quick, who have a sense of what. But if we introduce them to these things, I believe, yes, even if one come true, that is a tremendous success. And more than one going to come true.
Absolutely.
But not only that, we'll be able to see the particular behaviors, because as director of culture, when we thought about the programs in preschools, we had meetings with the Ministry of Social Services and Welfare, etc. And our thing was having them doing these programs. We'll see the bad, now let me change that. We'll see those who are temperamental, bossy, want to do things, and over a period of time, we refer them to the Ministry of Social Services, who look into the child and dig a little more deep into the social element of it. Maybe the single parent family, mother doing 2-3 jobs, not really spending time with the children.
Right.
So we will be able to start to identify, I don't want to use the word troublemakers.
Early intervention.
Yes, better well said, early intervention. And we start down there and we could sort it out. Because by the time they reach first farm, second farm, they're very much done on already. Sometimes even grade 6.
Absolutely.
So you see them early, identify them early, work with them early.
Correct.
So I commend you going down to the 5 and the 6, because the same thing we had with table tennis. Our table tennis programs were really meant to be for 7 until 16. We advertised that on radio.
Yeah.
But we having camps, and parents bringing the 5-year-old, 6-year-old. Parents even asked if they could bring 4-year-old. And next thing, 4 adults show up. So then when we advertise for table tennis and we having camps and things, we can't put an age now. We invite, because our motto is table tennis for everyone, the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association. So we don't turn away anyone, because we don't know. That might be the champion we're turning away.
That's correct.
Turn them away from sport might cause them to get into some other avenue. And I remember when we were going to school in primary school, as disgusting as we were, the teachers would tell us, go in the corner, face the wall, or go play football, go play some sport, or go drumming as a means of punishment.
Yeah.
But now, Ronaldo and these guys getting what, 500, 6,000 pounds, 600 pounds a week?
Per game.
Per game, and okay,
Per game.
all these kind of things.
Per game.
So that has changed, and we need to involve and get engaged with the youngster, the youth, at a much earlier age. So I really support that 5 and 6. And Mr. Zeke Percival, my number is 665-7463. That's Zeke.
7463.
Yeah, 665-7463. And he's from the St. Kitts, Royal St. Kitts Golf Club.
Yes.
And again, we thank you, Zeke, for coming on board and sponsoring 12 children. And we hope the message will get around and somebody will come and sponsor, even if it's only one child. That is okay. If it could
Definitely.
If it's 15 or 20, so much the better.
Definitely.
So we appreciate that gesture. And there's nothing wrong nothing to prevent a national association from coming aboard as well. And like you said, like Charmaine said, Miss Odin, yes, cash is good because your budget is 100 and something thousand. What was the figure?
US.
What was the figure again?
Over 100,000 US.
Over 100,000 US, which is 270.
130.
130. Oh, so that's 270 and 30 is another 80. So that's like 350, nearly $500,000 EC.
Correct.
If we
have to.
That is the converted to easy.
If we have to run
it
properly,
off. Yeah. 350,000. So it's not it's not an easy game, and we're encouraging sponsors to come on board individually, collectively, groups, organization. Even if you could only contribute a case of water, that is okay.
We'll appreciate it.
A case of soft drink, yes, that's okay. I'm certain. And we've gone overboard, Mr. Bogan. The intention was to have you here for like half a minute. and we couldn't really stop you because of the information and how important this program is, the success of the program.
Yeah,
you have somebody going off a 4-year scholarship, a degree scholarship, Bethany University. Where's that? What part of the US
It's in Missouri, USA.
Missouri, okay.
Luckily, the young man is a U.S. citizen, so he didn't have to go through the route of getting a visa.
And the exams and all these kind of things.
Yeah, and so that is that's a 4-year scholarship in the United States. Easily runs you over 200,000 EC.
Wow.
And so he's getting that for free for 4 years. And I hope he go and make his family and himself proud and St. Kitts and Nevis the first ever scholarship, successful scholarship, because we had one the first year, but that didn't work out because the person did not get the U.S. visa, even though he done had everything cleared. The U.S. Embassy turned him down.
Wow.
But this one,
because he's a U.S. citizen, he got
definitely, yeah. And we're hoping that this year we can place another 2 or 3 into college next year. So we are asking for St. Kitts and Nevis to support our youths. And as I remember the first year we went and we spoke to the Prime Minister. We said, Prime Minister, we got too much people here. He said, no youth should be left behind. Don't turn back none of them. Even if they didn't pay you, don't run back none of them, because we end up had a sad story about the first year. A youth, a child that came to the camp. The first day he got licks when he went home because apparently his friend bring him to the camp, and he didn't come back. And the last day of the camp we got some sad news that the said child drowned.
Wow.
Because he was not at the camp.
If he was at the camp, he wouldn't have drowned.
Nah.
Yeah, that's really, really sad, man.
So
I could
sad.
imagine how the parent feel for that, especially the mother for beating him.
Trust me. So we have really taken that on board. Even with our Saturday program, we have a number of children who is not financially but we don't run them. We accept all of them, and we love them just like everybody else, and so this year it's no difference. We are going to be inviting our youths to come out and support our 3rd annual crime intervention summer soccer camp, especially boys and girls between the ages of 14 and 17. Those are ages that coaches are looking to scout you, to take you, to get you a scholarship, to get you some professional tryout somewhere in Europe or in the United States, right? Contact persons, you can reach Miss Patrice Lewis. She's the club secretary at 663-5168. Patrice Lewis, 663-5168. Sergeant Charmaine Odein, 665-5785. You can reach myself, Inspector John Bergen, 664-6969. Easy to remember. I really want to say thanks again. It's been a pleasure to be here at on the ball, and I realize your viewership has increased.
Oh, definitely.
With me being here tonight. So I want to thank Vic, Percival, and all the persons who have contributed online. Thank you. Those of you listening in Radio Land, if you want to support a child, if you want to support this transformative initiative, life-changing, as Sergeant Odein said, life-changing initiative, come on board with us. Even if it's 5 cents, we accept it. It will go towards a bottle of water or something. Just support this initiative. It's gonna bring great returns. I always make the point that not discounting our local coaches, because we have some good coaches here in St. Kitts and Nevis, but when we partnered with True Life in England, and I know that we over time are gonna wrap up now. I know that we partnered with True Life and Beresford, Reach One, Teach One. It was set for 5 years. In 5 years' time, we should know that this program becomes an international camp, and we have already begun seeing the deliverables happening. First year, we had a 2 years coaching, a 2 year scholarship. Last year, we had 4 people going off to England for 2 weeks, and a scholarship, a 4 year scholarship worth over 200,000 EC. And this year, definitely, our partners have assured us that they're going to try to place at least 2 or 3 kids in some university in the United States. We are growing. More and more people are coming on board. Atlanta MLS Club, they are hoping to contribute to us.
Wonderful.
Tottenham Hotspurs, one of the big persons at Tottenham, she's coming, Tara, for the first time to see how it is happening on the ground. The good report she got from last year. And we are hoping to get some stuff from the Houston MLS Club as well. They are interested in the program, and hopefully this program will become sustained, and we wouldn't have to depend on the government so much. We'll heavily rely on government and our local corporate partners so much. But this year, definitely, we are calling corporate syndicates, we are calling kind-hearted people to come and support this initiative. It has to happen, but we can't do it without our international coaches. It will not be impactful in all that we are offering. These coaches are bringing scholarships, they're bringing international best practice in coaching, not only for the children, but for the local coaches as well. And it provides an opportunity for networking with them. You know, I'm certain We had coaches from the US, we had coaches from England, we had coaches from Canada last year, and they are our partners now, and we are constantly in contact with them. They are offering us opportunity, even though we're not the FA sports department. They are offering us opportunity, and we are giving it to worthy persons. So I want to thank WINN FM, and thank you, Mr. Mills, for having me here tonight. I was speaking about the Security Forces National Intervention Team, 3rd Annual Crime Intervention Summer Soccer Camp, which is happening from the 21st of July to the 1st of August this year. It caters for boys and girls between the ages of 5 to 17, and we are expecting about 300 persons to register to be a part of this life-changing, transformative initiative, crime intervention initiative. So thanks to the persons who have, again, been on board, and we want to thank the Percival tonight for sponsoring 12 children. We want to thank Delta Petroleum, the Taiwanese Embassy, the St. Kitts Biomedical Services, NCI, the cable. Those are the partners that we have on board with us so far. WINN FM, thank you. And I want to thank the hard-working team, because without you, we can't do it locally. You can't forget the hard-working team from the security forces and the National Intervention Team. Thank you. And to our international partners, I can't forget Billy Hughes, MBE over there in England. He has been a very strong support and advocate for this program as well. He's very passionate about youth development. I forgot to speak about him earlier, but Billy Hughes has been contributing a number of equipment stores over the last 2 years. I had it hard to get in touch with him, but from the time I got in touch with him, he jumped on board, and he gives us uniform from Man City. So when you see me wearing Man City uniform...
Man City, man, I thought you were going to say Man U.
Oh, Man City. So Billy Hughes is one of our partners over there in London. In Manchester as well, he would have been able to contribute a number of Cole Palmer jerseys to us. As you know, BBC came to St. Kitts earlier. In December of last year, they were down here, and they would have featured our Saturday program in a documentary.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
wonderful.
So what we're doing is getting international acknowledgement, and we continue to do it because we love youths, and we love children, and we want to see our young men and our young women grow up to be doctors, lawyers, prime ministers, teachers, dentists, radio announcers, sports broadcasters, and you name it. They become their own entrepreneurs as well. And that's the power of football. Football is life, I just say. And we want to catch them from an early age. We have seen since COVID, St. Kitts and Nevis football has kind of dwindled. Despite we made it to the Gold Cup, our youths, we need to get back our youths involved in playing more football if we're going to be on the national stage, international stage. And I believe in building the grassroots up. That is where you're going to get strong female teams, strong male teams, a strong foundation. So we're doing our part, and we want to encourage St. Kitts and Nevis to do your part to ensure that the summer camp this year is the biggest and the best ever. Thank you, Mr. Mills.
Mr. Borgan, there isn't anything I could say or add, except thank you very much for being here, educating us, educating the program. And WINN FM 98.9, of course, we are proud to have had you here to spread the word around. And you're welcome here anytime. You're Miss Odin, any other member of the National Intervention Team. And we congratulate you on the work you are doing. And we wish you, extend best wishes to you for the 2025 program and beyond. And especially your scholarship. The winner, we congratulate him.
Yes. And
hope he has a very safe and a successful sojourn at Bethany University in Missouri. And we hope that normally when there's one, people come to find out how many more you have there. That was the case with Kim Collins.
Right.
So no doubt Missouri University, they're going to come down to look at us here in St. Kitts and Nevis to find out if we have anybody else there they could grab and go with. Because it is really important.
Definitely.
And
absolutely.
Of course, we're hoping that when they go, they reach out and extend and pull one with them. And then one pull one, two, etc., etc. So congratulations to you, the security forces, Mr. Morgan, and the crime intervention team, and Sergeant Odin. We say thank you. And each one reach one. Thank you very much. And Mr. Zeke Percival and the St. Kitts Golf Club for coming on board. And we wish you all the best for your endeavors and your program, Mr. Bogie.
Thank you.
And have a safe flight home, and apologize to the wife for keeping you back a little later than I should have, for me, please.
Thank you.
We are listening to On the Board here at WINN FM 98.9, and we are a little over time. And I say thank you to my producer, Mr. Raspy of Tough House Sounds, DJ Raspy, who's been here patiently with us. And I'm looking at him, I'm not seeing a screw face or anything, so I can't take advantage of him. However, as we're about to end, we must say, just a reminder that the St. Kitts and Nevis Amateur Volleyball Association, they are looking for volunteers for the program that they have in the East Caribbean Volleyball Association on the 21 championships here in St. Kitts for the third time in a row. And they're asking for persons to train as volunteers. The first training session they'll be meeting this Friday coming, and that is at 6 or 7 p.m. And I'm trying to pull it up here, where the persons who involved will get a chance to undergo the meeting, undergo training, and have a chance to practice. They're looking for 24 volunteers, teams of twos, and they're also offering, you'll be getting lunch, refreshments, branded t-shirt, and they're offering a stipend of $200 EC for each scorer. And Friday night at the NOC conference room, Sunday and Saturday at the Frigate Bay. So go on out, contact Mr. Glenn Quinlan. He is the man who you'll need to speak to, and I'll give you his number in a moment to call him, ask him any question you would want to. And his number is 662-4567. He's the president of the St. Kitts Amateur Volleyball Association. I think he's also the president of the East Caribbean Volleyball Association. So give him a call, Mr. Glenn Quinlan of Quinlan and Associates, 662-4567. And he'll be able to tell you a little more about the program. And in-person training Friday 9th at 6 p.m. at the SKNOC conference room. Practical scoring on the 10th and the 11th. The competition is June the 6th to the 8th, 2025 at North Frigate Bay. So we encourage you to sign up and get involved in volleyball. And before we run off, we also tell you about cricket. The St. Kitts Cricket Association, they are having the AGM come Monday, the 19th of May. That's not Monday coming, the one after. And they're encouraging all members to pay their membership fee. And you have to pay before Thursday, 8th May. Today is Tuesday, 6th. So that's tomorrow, Wednesday, and then the following the Thursday, to pay your subscription for 2025. And 2, if you're interested in running for any position, you have until Thursday, 8th May, to write a letter to the Cricket Association to say you are interested, available, you will be running, indicating what position or positions you'll be contesting for. And that letter is to be addressed to Miss Andrea Liddy, Secretary, St. Kitts Cricket Association, at the Calvin Wilkin Pavilion, Warner Park, Cricket Stadium, Warner Park, Bastia. The email is stkittscricketassociation@gmail.com. St. Kitts Cricket Association, no full stop, no period. The words joined one behind the other. St. Kitts Cricket Association@gmail.com. So you go on out and you actually send your letter, and the office is upstairs. The Cricket Association office is upstairs at Warner Park in the old pavilion, as we call it. And we encourage you to go on out and support that. and support them. And we have the FA Cup that's up. They're now finishing up the round of 16, and come next, the 9th and the 10th will be the semi-finals. I think it is. Right now they're into the round of the
Quarterfinals.
The quarterfinals, yes. They're into the round of 16, and from there they're going to get into the quarterfinals and the quarterfinals Friday 9th. Old Road, the defending champions versus Village at Warner Park, 6:30 p.m. Sol Island Autonomy versus Development Bank St. Peter's at 8:30 p.m. At 6 p.m. on Saturday 10th, the winner of match 5, which is SL Horsford St. Paul's, they're going to play the winner of match 6, and match 6 is the game in progress at the moment. Tropical Blossoms Hot Springs Bath United versus Jones Group Sandy Point. And Saturday 10th at 8 p.m., the winner of match 7, which is Skellig versus, I think that will be Unicoma, the Cable Galaxy. And then the winner of match 3 will be against the winner of match, where am I? They were still in the quarterfinals. Winner of match 7, Skellig versus Galaxy. The winner of match 8, which is Keon versus Mantab. And then the semifinals, Tuesday the 13th, quarterfinal, match winner 1, match winner versus 2, etc., etc. The final is on Wednesday, 28th May. That's the FA Cup finals. Montreal Farms, Clean Right United, Old Road Jets. They are the champions. They defeated SL Horsford St. Paul's 2-0 in the finals last year. And St. Paul sort of got revenge this year in the President Cup because the league champions from last year, which is St. Paul's, played the knockout FA Cup champions, which is Old Road. And St. Paul's put a 2-0 whipping on them. The same 2-0 that they gave. So a lot of football action. We say congratulations to Lyamiga Cricket Club for winning the St. Kitts Cricket Association 40 over. We could tell you Leeward Islands female, they are in second place at the moment in the West Indies Women's T20 Blaze happening down in St. Vincent. The Leeward Islands, they are not doing, yes, they're doing that well. They lost a game. They were in second, they've dropped down to third. Barbados is second, Trinidad and Tobago first. The winner of the Breakout League goes straight through to the finals. And Trinidad and Tobago leading right now. Barbados, they're in second place with one match more than Leeward's. Leeward's played 3, 1-2 last one. Barbados, I think, played 4, 1-3 last one. So the second place and the third place will play in the one-half semi-final, and the winner will then play the first place in the finals. So Leewards would want to find themselves in one of those 3 positions. So I thank you for tuning in. I thank you to all who made their contribution to On the Ball tonight. It was indeed a pleasure and an honor having you. Thank you very much for viewing us. And you can always send your suggestions to me, 668-2055. You can call me. That's my WhatsApp, my telephone number. If you prefer email, it's tkmilz@hotmail. T for Troy, K for Kevin, TKM, TKS, M for Mango, I for Igloo, L for Love, Z for Zebra, @hotmail.com. I say thank you very much to my producer for allowing us to go about half an hour over time. Thank you for the management and staff and the board of directors for understanding and allowing us. We couldn't stop and cut such an important intervention program, keeping our youth on the straight and narrow. We're using football as a vehicle to keep them away from a life of violence and crime. Until we see you next week again, I leave by saying, please be patient when you're driving. Otherwise, you can be and you will end up a patient, and we don't want that, and it could be worse. When you're driving, make sure you don't drive too close behind the person in front of you. If they stop, you're saying, oh, he stopped abruptly, and he didn't use no handbrakes and no signals, indicators. No movement, doesn't hold water. Don't drink and drive, don't drive and drink. Observe the speed limits. Please observe the speed limits. Cut down on speed. When it comes to the eating, cut back on salt, cut back on sugar. too much diabetes, too much stroke, too much deaths from these things. So please cut back on salt, cut back on sugar. We're now into the hurricane season. The 1st of June hurricane season start. That is a matter of 25 days, a little over 3 weeks away. Start to prepare, get your board and hammer and all of that. And am I missing anything? Always be positive in your thoughts, your words, and in your actions. Thanks a lot. Have a good night. See you next week. Godspeed. On another edition of On the Ball. Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune into On the Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Bif Mills on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube.